Look around you right now. Everything you see, from the chair you sit on to the device in your hand, began as a thought in someone's imagination. What if I told you that your own thoughts, the pictures you secretly hold in your mind, are already shaping the life you are about to live? Today, you will discover the truth that imagination is not fantasy. It is creation in motion. Imagination is the seed of creation, the beginning of everything that comes into form, and the invisible force that shapes the visible world. Every invention, every achievement, every piece of art, every discovery that has ever graced humanity began first as a thought in someone's mind. What you think about with intensity and feeling is not merely a fleeting idea, it is a seed planted in the fertile soil of the subconscious. Just as a farmer trusts the seed he places in the ground will one day sprout and bear fruit, you too must recognize that the images you hold in your imagination are destined to blossom into reality when nurtured with faith and consistency. Nothing can come into existence in your life until it is first conceived in your mind, for imagination is the womb of creation, the unseen blueprint from which life builds its outcomes. Consider how often people speak of luck or chance, yet overlook the truth that their daily thoughts are quietly sketching the future. If you continually imagine struggle, lack, or defeat, those very conditions are attracted into your experience. The seed you sow determines the harvest you reap. In the same way, when you consistently picture abundance, joy, success, and well-being, you are setting in motion the invisible laws of creation that will call forth opportunities, resources, and connections to match the inner vision. The mind cannot hold an image with feeling without giving life to it in some form. For thought infused with emotion becomes a creative force that magnetizes its own likeness. It is vital to understand that imagination is not wishful thinking. It is a spiritual power, a creative faculty that operates by law. A builder would never attempt to raise a house without a plan, and the plan must first be drawn before the foundation can ever be laid. Your imagination is that plan, that sketch, that divine draft of your future life. Whatever you continue to see inwardly must eventually clothe itself in form outwardly. This is why great visionaries, leaders, and dreamers dared to see beyond their present conditions. They imagined what could be, held it firmly in their mind's eye, and walked forward until the outer world rearranged itself to match the inner picture. Every day you are planting seeds with your imagination, whether consciously or unconsciously. The challenge is not whether you are imagining, but what you are imagining. Many people allow fear and doubt to dominate their thoughts, and by doing so, they give their energy to creating the very circumstances they dread. To master your life, you must master your inner vision, for the seed you plant is the destiny you will walk into. By deliberately choosing thoughts of success, happiness, and prosperity, you are shaping a reality that reflects those qualities. Imagination is never idle, it is always creating. Therefore, the key is to direct it with purpose, clarity, and faith, knowing that every mental seed sown today will one day become the harvest of tomorrow. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a creator of worlds, and the truth of this reality lies in the understanding that life does not happen to you, it happens through you. Many spend their days believing they are at the mercy of fate, chance, or the actions of others. Yet the conditions they face are reflections of the thoughts and images they have long held in mind. The outer world is nothing but a mirror, faithfully reflecting the dominant patterns of belief and imagination. When a person begins to see themselves not as powerless, but as powerful creators, they awaken to a freedom that cannot be shaken by temporary appearances. The experiences you walk through today are echoes of the thoughts you held yesterday, and the choices you make in imagination now are the seeds of your tomorrows. It is easy to look at unfavorable circumstances and believe they are proof of limitation, but such conditions are only the outpicturing of old thoughts. Just as the harvest you gather today was planted in seasons past, so too are your present situations the results of yesterday's inner life. If one desires change, they must first change the root rather than attempting to trim the shadow. To persist in new thoughts, new images, and new feelings is to replant the soil of the mind, and in time, the outer must align with the new inner vision. There is no bondage in life except the one created by continued agreement with limitation. The moment you withdraw your consent from fear and lack and replace them with faith and abundance, you step into the role of the creator rather than the victim. Every individual carries within themselves the same power that has formed worlds and galaxies, a creative energy that operates through imagination and belief. To claim that you are bound by circumstance is to deny the divine authority placed within you. You hold the power to speak, to see, and to feel into existence the life you desire. Every word you speak with conviction is a command. Every picture you hold with faith is an instruction. And every feeling you cultivate is a magnet drawing to you the outer evidence of your inner state. To walk in this awareness is to step out of helplessness and into mastery, to exchange resignation for dominion. Those who see themselves as victims often repeat the same stories of failure, betrayal, and disappointment. And by continually rehearsing these stories in imagination, they unknowingly summon more of the same. Yet those who dare to see themselves as creators begin to speak differently, think differently, and expect differently, and the universe responds accordingly. Life bends to meet the strength of inner conviction. It does not matter where one begins. What matters is the recognition that new beginnings are always available, and with every thought, every image, and every word, a fresh path is being written. To live as a creator is to take ownership of the unseen realm. Knowing it will always mold the scene to match its pattern, the inner world controls the outer world. For what you carry within is inevitably expressed without. Thoughts are not idle wisps of energy floating through the mind. They are blueprints, charged with emotion, that carve pathways into reality. Every image held in imagination, every belief nurtured in the heart. Every conviction spoken with the tongue gathers substance in the unseen and presses outward until it appears as circumstance, opportunity, or condition. The visible world is nothing more than a reflection of the invisible one, and if the reflection is to change, the image at its source must first be altered. Just as a mirror cannot display anything other than what stands before it, life cannot present anything other than what is persistently entertained within consciousness. This is why external effort alone often fails to produce lasting results. One may labor endlessly to change appearances. Yet, if the inner thought remains unchanged, the outer will eventually revert to its former pattern. True transformation does not begin with the outer rearrangements of life, but with the quiet redirection of inner vision. To dwell upon success, harmony, abundance, and joy is to invite them into form, for the outer must always obey the inner command. Likewise, to continually focus on fear, doubt, or lack is to reinforce their power until they harden into visible reality. The law is impartial and unfailing. It cannot be tricked or bypassed. Whatever seed is planted within must bring forth fruit of its own kind. When a person begins to grasp that the outer is only a shadow of the inner, they stop struggling against appearances and start working within. No storm outside has the power to disturb the calm of one who has mastered their inner state. A man who imagines himself prosperous will find opportunities of prosperity, even in places where others see only scarcity. A woman who holds fast to the vision of health will call forth vitality, even when the body appears frail. It is not the external evidence that determines the outcome, but the unwavering picture maintained within the imagination. The outer has no choice but to conform, for it is the servant, not the master. Every day offers the chance to choose which inner state to cultivate. Life may present appearances of lack or struggle, But those appearances have no lasting power when one refuses to give them energy through imagination and emotion. To persist in dwelling on the reality one desires, rather than the shadow one fears, is to shift the axis of life itself. This truth frees you from dependence on circumstances or the opinions of others. No authority outside yourself holds sway over your destiny. The authority rests within. As you change the picture in your mind, you change the story of your life. The unseen world, rich with infinite possibility, waits only for the command of your inner vision to shape itself into form. Imagination manifests in all areas of life, for there is no aspect of human experience untouched by the images and feelings you hold within. The body, the mind, relationships, finances, and opportunities all respond to the silent pictures impressed upon the subconscious. When one consistently envisions health and vitality, the body begins to align with that vision, for the cells of the body are ever listening to the commands of thought. Countless individuals have witnessed transformation in their well-being by refusing to dwell on sickness and instead holding firmly to the image of wholeness, strength, and renewal. The body is but a servant of the inner command, and the imagination, when guided by faith, carries the authority to reshape it. The same principle governs the realm of wealth and provision. Many believe abundance comes only through labor, chance, or external circumstance, yet the truth is that wealth begins first as a state of consciousness. A person who imagines lack, who continually pictures scarcity and limitation, closes the door to opportunities that might otherwise appear. On the other hand, the one who holds a vision of prosperity, who inwardly sees themselves supplied, guided, and supported, creates a magnetic force that draws resources, people, and circumstances into alignment with that image. Abundance is not chased but attracted, and the magnet of attraction is imagination charged with faith and gratitude. Love and relationships also bow to this same law. A person who imagines themselves unworthy of love will find themselves repeating cycles of loneliness or disappointment, for the outer world is simply confirming the inner picture. But when one dares to imagine themselves cherished, valued, and surrounded by harmonious connections, the atmosphere of their life begins to shift. People are drawn in response to the vibration carried within, and bonds are formed that mirror the vision held in the heart. Relationships flourish when the imagination is used to see harmony, kindness, and joy. For what is pictured inwardly is expressed outwardly through words, actions, and energy that attract their likeness. Success in endeavors, too, is governed by this same principle. No achievement begins in the outer world, it begins with an image of possibility in the mind of the dreamer. A business, a work of art, an invention, or a career breakthrough is first seen inwardly before it is ever built, painted, designed, or achieved. The individual who dares to imagine success with clarity and persistence positions themselves for doors to open that others overlook. Imagination is not idle fantasy, it is the creative blueprint by which ideas take root and unfold into tangible reality. Every area of life is subject to the dominion of imagination. The law does not discriminate between one realm and another. Just as surely as an architect's design becomes a building, the design you carry within becomes the life you walk in. To imagine health, wealth, love, and success is to plant seeds in each of these fields, and with unwavering faith. Those seeds must bring forth their harvest. Guard your imagination as you would guard a treasure chest of gold, for it is the most precious possession you have. The images you allow to take root within will one day become the circumstances of your life, whether or not you intended them to. Many fail to realize that imagination is always creating, whether guided or left unchecked. Just as a garden left untended will soon be overrun with weeds, a mind left unguarded will become a breeding ground for fear, doubt, and limitation. These negative thoughts, when entertained and repeated, grow stronger until they harden into visible form. appearing as the very conditions you dread. To protect your imagination, therefore, is not a casual choice but a sacred responsibility, for it determines the shape of your destiny. Fear is one of the greatest thieves of imagination. When fear is allowed to linger in the mind, it paints pictures of failure, loss, or disaster, and the subconscious, unable to distinguish between reality and imagination, begins to create according to those fearful images. Worry is nothing more than negative imagination, rehearsed repeatedly until it takes on the appearance of truth. To give energy to such thoughts is to give life to the very outcomes you wish to avoid. This is why it is essential to turn away from fear as one would turn from poison, refusing to dwell on images that weaken faith. By consciously rejecting the negative and deliberately choosing visions of success, safety, and peace, you preserve the creative power of imagination for your highest good. Doubt is another subtle intruder that must be denied entry. While fear is loud and unsettling, doubt creeps in quietly, whispering that what you desire is impossible or that your dreams are too great. To entertain doubt is to weaken the creative force of imagination, for divided thought cannot bring forth a clear result. Just as a builder cannot construct a house with an incomplete blueprint, the mind cannot manifest fully when its vision is fractured by disbelief. To guard against doubt is to hold unwaveringly to the desired picture, refusing to let conflicting thoughts take hold. Faith, when steadfast, shields the imagination and strengthens the power of creation. Guarding your imagination also requires discernment over what influences you allow into your life. The conversations you listen to, the words you repeat, the images you consume, and the environments you dwell in all plant seeds within your mind. If you constantly surround yourself with stories of failure, lack, and despair, those seeds will seek expression in your reality. But if you feed your imagination with uplifting ideas, inspiring visions, and affirmations of possibility, you cultivate a garden rich with fruitful outcomes. To choose carefully what enters your mind is to safeguard your future. The imagination is sacred soil, and it cannot remain empty. It will always grow what is planted, whether good or bad. By rejecting fear, silencing doubt, and nourishing it only with thoughts of faith, abundance, and harmony, you ensure that the harvest of your life will reflect beauty, strength, and success. The law of imagination is unfailing, operating with precision and impartiality, just as the law of gravity does not favor one person over another but applies universally. Whatever image is consistently held in the mind, charged with emotion and belief, must eventually be expressed in the outer world. The universe does not ask whether the image is desirable or destructive, it simply brings forth what is impressed upon it. This is why so many find themselves in repeated cycles of lack, conflict, or disappointment. They are unknowingly applying the law of imagination against themselves by dwelling on pictures of fear, limitation, and defeat. The law cannot be stopped, but it can be directed, and the one who learns to consciously guide imagination discovers the key to shaping destiny. Imagination is like a faithful servant that never argues, never questions, and never refuses. It simply accepts the commands given to it and sets about creating conditions that mirror those commands. If a person continually imagines obstacles, the law ensures that obstacles appear. If another persistently imagines success, the law ensures that avenues of success are revealed. This constancy should not be feared but celebrated, for it means that at any moment, one has the power to redirect their life by redirecting their inner vision. There is no delay in the law, only the time it takes for a new inner image to replace the old and for conditions to rearrange themselves to reflect it. The impartial nature of the law is what makes it both a warning and a promise. It is a warning to those who dwell carelessly on images of failure, for their thoughts will not remain invisible but will clothe themselves in form. At the same time, it is a promise to those who persistently hold noble, uplifting visions, for they can be assured that these too must manifest. Just as planting a seed in the soil guarantees that something will grow, planting a vision in the imagination guarantees that it will bear fruit in due season. The harvest depends not on chance but on the nature of the seed and the care given to its cultivation. To work with this law effectively, one must learn persistence. A fleeting wish or occasional daydream holds little creative power, but a vision consistently entertained, infused with faith and emotion, gathers momentum until it cannot be denied. This is why repetition is so vital. For every time the same picture is held in the mind, it deepens its imprint upon the subconscious, strengthening its claim to outer expression. The one who holds fast to their vision despite appearances, doubts, or delays proves their faith, and the law must yield to such steadfastness. There is no favoritism in this law, no exceptions, no hidden clauses. It does not respond to desperation or mere effort, but only to belief made vivid through imagination. Whether for wealth or poverty, health or sickness, harmony or discord, the law faithfully returns the likeness of what is impressed upon it. To understand this is to step into mastery, knowing that every thought entertained with conviction is a seed sown, and every seed must in time bring forth its harvest. Persistence is the secret that turns imagination into reality. For a single fleeting thought may pass without leaving a mark, but a vision held with unwavering consistency gathers power until it becomes irresistible. The mind is like soft clay, and every repeated image impresses itself more deeply, forming grooves that guide experience. When a person dares to persist in holding a picture of success, abundance, or harmony, even when the outer world shows no evidence of change, they are shaping the unseen forces that will eventually rearrange circumstances. The mistake many make is to give up too quickly, to abandon their vision when results are not immediate, forgetting that the seed planted in imagination requires time to grow roots before breaking through into visible form. To persist means to hold fast to the vision regardless of appearances, to choose the unseen promise over the temporary shadow. Appearances are deceiving, for they are only reflections of past thinking, not indicators of what is yet to come. If you look only at what is visible, you may lose heart and declare that your vision is impossible. But persistence demands that you look instead to the inner image, knowing it is the higher reality that will eventually clothe itself in form. Just as a farmer does not dig up his seed each day to check it is growing, but trusts the process until harvest, so must you trust the unseen workings of imagination and persist until the result reveals itself. Persistence also demands discipline over thought. The mind is often tempted to wander back into old patterns of fear, doubt, or worry, but each time you gently return it to the chosen vision, you are strengthening the creative imprint. Like a sculptor chiseling away at stone, every return to the picture refines and deepens it, bringing it closer to completion. This is not a struggle but a practice of faith, for faith is not proven by momentary belief but by steadfast endurance. To persist in the unseen while the visible contradicts is the highest form of belief, and it is this level of faith that compels reality to yield. Those who have achieved great things in life, whether in art, invention, leadership, or healing, have done so not because they were free of obstacles, but because they persisted beyond them. They refused to abandon their vision when others doubted, when resources seemed lacking, or when circumstances appeared hostile. Their persistence allowed them to outlast temporary resistance. For nothing in the outer world has the strength to withstand a vision held faithfully within. Every obstacle eventually bows to persistent imagination, every barrier dissolves before the steady force of conviction. Persistence is the proof that you truly believe in the vision you hold. To imagine once is to plant a seed, but to persist is to water it, nurture it, and shield it from the weeds of doubt. The harvest belongs not to the one who sows carelessly, but to the one who tends faithfully until the vision takes form in all its fullness. What you imagine today is tomorrow's reality. For every thought, image, and feeling you allow into your inner world sets in motion forces that will shape the future you step into. Life is not a matter of chance but of design, and the blueprint is drawn in the secret chambers of the mind. The pictures you dwell upon, the words you speak with conviction, and the emotions you nurture are not idle. They are living seeds cast into the soil of the subconscious. Though invisible at first, these seeds germinate, take root, and grow until they manifest as the very conditions and experiences that surround you. To recognize this truth is to take responsibility for the future, knowing that what is imagined today cannot remain hidden, but will surely call forth its likeness in due time. Many look to tomorrow with uncertainty, believing it to be shaped by luck, fate, or external forces beyond their control. But tomorrow is already being written in the thoughts entertained today. If the mind is filled with images of fear, struggle, and lack, tomorrow will bring forth the fruit of those very imaginings. Yet, if the heart dares to see abundance, harmony, health, and joy, tomorrow cannot help but reflect that vision. The outer world is only a mirror, and it has no choice but to reproduce the images held most consistently in imagination. Just as a farmer prepares for a harvest by planting the seeds of the crop he desires, you must plant deliberately in your inner world. For you cannot sow weeds and expect flowers, nor dwell on shadows and expect light. This truth also carries a profound promise. No matter how difficult present circumstances may appear, they are not final, for they are only the result of past thoughts. A new picture imagined today sets in motion a new destiny for tomorrow. One who has walked through years of lack can, by consistently imagining abundance, step into a future filled with prosperity. One who has suffered disappointment in love can, by seeing themselves cherished and valued in imagination, draw into their tomorrow the harmony they long for. The present is but the shadow of yesterday's thoughts, but the future is wide open, waiting to take shape according to the images being held right now. The creative process is not hurried, yet it is certain. Just as a seed does not sprout the moment it is planted, imagination requires time to unfold into visible form. The delay is not denial but a season of growth, and persistence through this season is what guarantees the harvest. Those who understand this truth remain calm, even when appearances seem unchanged, for they know the invisible is already working. And what is imagined with faith will eventually step forth into the light of reality. What you imagine today is already reaching out to greet you in tomorrow. To choose carefully what you dwell upon is to choose the quality of your future. Every picture held in the inner world is a silent promise of what is to come, and by directing imagination toward the highest good, you ensure that tomorrow's reality will be a reflection of the vision you dare to hold today. Imagination is not a dreamer's escape. It is the architect of your destiny. Guard it, guide it, and dare to believe in its power, for what you see within today, you will surely walk in tomorrow. Choose wisely, imagine boldly, and watch your vision step into reality.